Black Ops 6 currently released the Season 1 Reloaded update, and they changed a couple of the settings around that I want to get into. Now, the first one that we're going to get into, well, actually, I'm going to show you guys every single one of my settings that I have, just so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing in this game and stuff. But first off, I want to go into controller and show you guys the horizontal stick and the vertical stick are now different. It says 1.60 and 1.80 rather than numbers going from 1 to 20. So now instead of having only 20 options for sensitivity, you now have 10 options here, 10 options here. You got 40 full options on sensitivity, which is crazy. It's actually crazy, so it's pretty good. I do like it. Now, I'm going to say 1.60 is around a 7 if that's what you're used to, and 1.80 is around an 8. So if you ever wanted a 7.5, you could just go to 1.70, and that's basically 7.5. Any number that's not an even number is a 0.5. Technically, if you want to speak of it. So let's say I want to put my sensitivity to 1.30, that's probably somewhere around a 3. If I put it to 1.40, that's somewhere around a 4. So you guys, you kind of get it. There's way more options to control your sensitivity now, which is really cool. I actually do like that a lot. So I'm going to just try 170. And basically, I'm playing on 7.5 right now for horizontal and vertical. It's cool. It's all right. Now, let me know what you guys are going to set your sensitivity to down in the comments below with these new sensitivity settings. I'm going to play at 1.70, but that's because I like it, I think. If you guys are lazy or don't have time to unlock all the camos in Black Ops 6, check out MMOEXP. They'll do it for you. They'll get it all done. And they even have double XP tokens and double weapon XP tokens for you guys to get. Check out the link down in the description below. But let's get into all my settings. So I play on stick and move. You guys know that. I like stick and move. It just helps me out a lot. And I play on flipped. I shoot with L1 and R1 rather than L2 and R2 because I just find clicking those buttons is a lot faster. It just feels a lot more responsive and I just like it a lot better. So that's why I play flipped. Now, simplified controls, I got off. All of this is off. And then obviously swap, because I play flipped, that is on. Controller vibration, I'm going to recommend you turn this off. You do not want to have it on. If you do want to have it on, set it to like somewhere minimal. You don't want to have it super high or anything. So I'm just going to turn it off. It's awful. It's not good to have on. And then trigger effect off as well. And dead zone inputs, kind of wish they switched this up too, but it is what it is. So I'm playing left stick minimum at 5. The reason I play this is because I got stick drift. If I didn't have stick drift, I would play at 0. I play max at 25 because when I move the stick slightly, I want it to like almost max out, right? If I don't want it to like push the stick all the way up for it to activate or anything like that. I want to be really fast, and that helps me there. Right stick minimum 10. I've made a lot of videos explaining this. I don't really want to explain it right now. It's just better, guys. I know a lot of you guys are going to say, no, playing at 0 is better. Your aim assist is really, really bad at 0. It reacts too fast to you touching that stick and stuff. So just put it a little higher and you will be happy. Trust me on that. I got videos on this, and most people, I'd say 95% of you guys, I'm talking hundreds, maybe even thousands of comments at this point, agree that playing on 10 is really nice. And a lot of people are thanking me because they didn't realize how good it actually was until they tried it. And then we got right stick max over at 100, and then left and right stick triggers obviously at 0. You don't want any of this. You don't want haptics on. You don't want none of that, all right? So just put that at 0. In my aiming sensitivity multiplier, I got my air vehicles at 0.60 because they're a little hard to control, and then my tablet at 0.45. So if I call in like a Hellstorm missile or something, it's a little easier to control when it's lowered down to this amount. I find when it's really high, when it's up at 1, it's a little hard. It reacts way too fast to everything. And then my ADS sensitivity multiplier is at 0.90, but that doesn't really matter too much right now. We'll get more into that afterwards. Now, my aiming advanced settings, I play gradual. I do. A lot of people say instant is way better. It's personal preference. Honestly, I've noticed very, very slight differences when playing with these two. Gradual does seem to hit those first few shots a little easier and stuff, and I just find it a little nicer. But if you want to play instant, go ahead and do so. And then I play on dynamic as well. And this one right here, a lot of people are going to say linear is better. Again, I've done a lot of testing. Dynamic at 0.80, at least for me, and the controller, I play on a basic PlayStation 5 controller, no back paddles, nothing like that. For me, dynamic just seems to be the best option to do, and it's ideal for more experienced players. That's what it says, dynamic. So if you're inexperienced, if you just started COD maybe 2-3 years ago and you haven't played too much, linear will be better for you. It's just going to help you guys out more. Dynamic, if you're good at controlling your aim, that's what you want to play on. And then custom sensitivity per zoom, like I said, this is what we'll talk about. I put my ADS sensitivity multiplier for my low zoom. This is like the basic red dot sights, the iron sights. I put it to 0.90, and then everything else higher zoom. Obviously, I want it to be a bit quicker because it zooms in a lot, and I just don't want to be too fast on that. So basically, that's it right there. We're going to get into movement. Again, I'm just going to show you guys this. I'm not going to really, I play tap to slide if that's important, but we're just going to show you guys this quickly. There's not much to talk about here. There you go. You guys can do that. And then here as well, if you want to just pause it take a screenshot. This is pretty much what I play on here. Going into the graphics, I'm going to say the main thing you want to do here is brightness, all right? You want to make sure that the not visible is not visible, the barely visible is actually barely visible, and the easily visible is easily visible. If you set this all the way to 100, your game's going to look washed out. It's going to be really ugly. And then if you put it too low, enemies sitting in corners are going to be too hard to spot, too hard to see. So put it somewhere where it fits nicely for you. There's not much else there, but render resolution, I play on 105. You could play higher if you could do it. I mean, I could do it, but for the sake of this, I don't like it. But right here, my field of view, I dropped it down to 100. I used to play on 107 consistently. Sometimes I would go up to like 115 and stuff. But if your main focus is accuracy, if your main focus is getting those crosshairs on the enemy before you ADS, you want this lower. And most pro players, and they've said it in podcasts and stuff, play near 100. Playing at 120 might be nice for TikTok videos and stuff, but if you just want to care about your accuracy and whatnot, put it down to like 100. I wouldn't say go too low, like 90 and 80 is really awful, and then too high, like 115, 120 is way too high. 100 is nice. Somewhere around there is pretty good. And then my ADS field of view, I put to independent. The reason I do this is so that it could bring my gun closer in. It could bring everything on the screen closer to my gun, and it's easier to hit. Affected looks nicer. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it plays nicer as well, but independent is really good for accuracy. Weapon field of view, I play on narrow. You could play default, you could play wide, but if you play on these two right here, default and wide, your gun takes up a little bit more of your screen, so it does hide a little bit more of your screen. Narrow makes it so that you can see a lot more of your screen. It's a little weird, but I play on narrow. Third person field of view, don't really play third person, so I don't really touch that. World motion blur off, weapon motion blur off. You could turn a little weapon motion blur on. I have it on when I'm playing just for fun, if I'm playing like random game modes and stuff that I don't normally record. When I record, I turn it off because it does look nicer, so that's for the most part why I have it off at the moment. But I'm gonna say turn it on, and the reason you want weapon motion blur on and world motion blur off is because when your weapon's blurry, it tricks your brain into kind of forgetting that your weapon's actually there. Have you ever looked at a picture where there's something in focus and everything else is out of focus? Your brain automatically just forgets about everything else. Well, this is good, so you don't focus on your weapon and stuff. You don't look at your gun and stuff while running. You look at the map, you look ahead of you and stuff. So turn it on for that reason. And then the camera shake, obviously you want this at the absolute least. You do not want this high at all. It's awful to have high. And next off, we'll go into the audio in a second, but let's go to interface quickly here. And I'm going to say in interface, you want to go over to the gameplay HUD, turn that mini map to square. All right, guys, 100% of the time, square is going to be nicer. Mine used to reset to round every time I reloaded the game, but since the season 1 reloaded update, I opened this game 3 times to test it. It's staying at square finally, man. Dude, I hated when it would just switch randomly to round on its own. I just hated that. Minimap rotation on, and then the radar I got off. I used to play with this on. I'm going to recommend do whatever you want. If you play with radar on, it kind of just takes away most of the buildings and stuff that you could see on it. So it's just a flat radar, and it shows you the red dots and stuff where the enemies are. But personally, I kind of like it off. Now, I did like it on for the most time. Compass type, minimap, obviously. And then crosshairs. A lot of people ask me how I have that purple crosshair. It's simple, guys. You go into your crosshair settings, turn on center dots, turn it to the largest so you can see it as large in your screen, and then put the opacity up to 100. If you have this on at 0, you will not see that center dot. And then the crosshair color, I recommend purple. It's just easier to see. It's easier to just track people with it. There's not much purple on these maps. Not many of the in-game characters wear purple, so it just looks really good. If you put it on yellow, you could lose the sights and stuff, the crosshair and the center dot and all that. You can lose it in the sun. You can lose it on different parts of buildings that are yellow. So just put purple. It's really nice. And the reason you want the center dot on is so that you could aim at enemies easily before you ADS, which is really nice. And then finally, we'll go into account and network. I will go to audio. I did forget that. And you're going to turn this off, all right? I'm not going to say it because I don't know if like this is a banned word on YouTube or anything, but you're going to turn this off. You want it off. It's just not worth having on. What it does basically when you turn it on is it shows a lot of different effects while you shoot at enemies, and it just causes your game to micro freeze every so often. It's just not worth having on. Audio, I got voice chat volume at 50. I don't really want to hear people too much, but 25 is way too low. I have it off at the moment because currently I'm recording, and if someone joins my lobby, that's awkward. And then basically that's about it. I put my microphone all the way to 100 because I want people to hear me clearly. And then in audio, what I recommend is gameplay volume all the way down, the gameplay music volume all the way down to 0. You don't want that to be a distraction. I have it on because, like I said, I make videos. It sounds better in the videos, so I leave it at that. turn it off like completely if you want. Dialogue volume 100, you want to hear the callouts from the random enemies and stuff like that, the character, not the actual person playing. And then the effects volume, this is footsteps, grenades going off, gunshots, doors opening and closing. You want this up at 100. You want to hear this clear as day as well. And then cinematic music volume, again, put it to 0 if you guys want. I currently play on Sucker Punch. I find Sucker Punch is just one of the best ones to play on. You can play on bass boost for headphones. Sucker Punch is good. You're going to hear those footsteps. You're going to hear a lot of stuff with that right there. And basically that's it. That's all my settings. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel with those notifications turned on. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what your new sensitivity is down in the comments below, what you guys are going to set yours to. My name is Nick, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.